Hey, Pretty Girl Club. I just wanted to do a quick shout out to all of the new subscribers who are from all over the world. Thank you guys so much for supporting me and being a part of the Patreon. But I want to talk about the jealousy of the mulatta phenotype. So, first of all, if you are a mulatto, so you have like this black ancestry, you've got white ancestry, the people I'm going to show in this video, some of them may have other admixtures in there as well. So you don't have to comment and say, oh, well, that person doesn't count. I know that Meghan Markle has a little bit of admixture of native. But I think one of the main reasons people get jealous of mulattas is because you are the standard of ambiguity. I think that dark skin exoticals are the standard of dark skin beauty. We've got the Caribbean exoticals. They're like this summertime vacation standard of beauty. And then I feel like the mulattoes are this standard of beauty, but also a standard of ambiguity. Usually, when somebody is talking about being mixed, or if they think of a mixed race person, or if they think of a stereotype of what a mixed person is supposed to look like, generally speaking, they tend to be thinking of somebody that has black and white ancestry. And I think that there's also this stereotype that if you are part white or if you have a lot of white ancestry, there's a stereotype that not only are you benefiting from the isms, a lot of people stereotype you as benefiting from all the isms. I know that there are a lot of black and white exoticals who have 4C hair. You guys have different hair textures, but people still stereotype you as being extremely privileged because you're the closest to white culture that you can get. A lot of people secretly wish that they had white ancestry, and because they don't have it, they will go out of their way to create children who look like you. They're going out of their way and creating entire movements on YouTube to teach black women how to get with white men, or they're teaching black men how to get with white women in other countries, all so they can create your phenotype. Something else that I think a lot of people are jealous of with mulattas, I think that people don't take into consideration the skin tone range that you have as somebody with both black ancestry and white ancestry. I notice that people tend to accuse mulattas of bleaching. They like to do that because they don't have that same ancestry, so they don't understand how deep of a tan you can get. I've seen a lot of mulattas where they can get these very deep caramely types of tans, like almost going towards a chocolatey type of tan, and then they can go back pale in the winter, really as pale as they want. And that's another thing. People don't seem to understand that when you have white ancestry, you literally have less melanin in your DNA. You have less melanin in your body. So once you get out of the sun, you're going to become even more pale than, let's say, a black person who is light skinned and they're not mixed. So I think some people are also jealous of your ability to become as pale as you want, and then you can still get a tan because of your African ancestry as well. So that is something I've only noticed with people who have both black ancestry and white ancestry. They're always questioning, oh, did she bleach herself? Oh, she looks extra pale. Well, she's half white, ma'am. So if somebody is half white, what happens to a white person when they stay out of the sun? Well, they become extremely pale. So your skin tone versatility, I think that's something else that a lot of people don't acknowledge. I think that if you have black ancestry and white ancestry, you do tend to have a lot of skin tone variability that a lot of the other mixes may not have. I've also noticed that some people, it's almost like they crown mulattoes as the kings and queens of the mixed race community, because something that I hear from mixed people is they'll say things like, oh, well, I don't feel mixed enough. And then I'll be like, oh, why? And they'll be like, what if somebody who's more white than me or somebody biracial, what if they reject my mix? What if they say, well, you're not really mixed or you're not really biracial? So I've also noticed this thing where even people in the mixed community seek the validation of mulattoes, because I feel like if you're a mulatto, if you have that ancestry, it's almost like you're the face of the mixed community. And so other people of other mixes, or people who have maybe less white in their ancestry, or people who are just not comfortable with their identities yet, it's almost like there's this intimidation that some of them have of the mulatto background in general. I've noticed that sometimes people, they will try to explain their ancestry and they try to prove themselves specifically to mulattoes. And it's like, you didn't keep that same energy with the dark skinned mixed people. You didn't keep that same energy with people of other mixes. Why is it that suddenly when you're around someone who has black and white ancestry, now you're over here trying to explain yourself, trying to be included? So I feel like people naturally put mulattoes on a pedestal, and it's almost as if they view mulattoes as the gatekeepers of who's mixed and who's not. So I think that actually can cause some jealousy. I think some people are jealous of how strong the mulatto identity is, even throughout Black history. Oh, by the way, happy Biracial History Month, happy Mulatto History Month, because that's basically what this is. Rosa Parks, Barack Obama, Frederick Douglass, W.E.B. Du Bois, they were all mulattoes. Also, I think that a lot of people won't admit that the mulatto mix, that's actually a very common mix. Like a lot of people who are identifying as Afro Latino or they're identifying as multi generationally mixed, a lot of people who are identifying as Creole, a lot of these people, they still have that mulatto mix in there. They still have a black and white mixture in their bloodline. So I think that's something else too that some people can get jealous of, is really the sense of community that you can have as a mulatto person. But in terms of beauty, I also want to talk about the light skin, long hair stereotype and kind of like all these beauty icons, especially in the black community. Lauren London is the first one that just popped up in my mind. A lot of these beauty icons, they are biracial black and white women. And I've noticed that a lot of women in the black community, they try to get this aesthetic of having this pale skin with this dark black hair. And then I think that the people who try to get this ambiguity type of beauty, they're trying to get almost like this Leona Lewis type of look. So it's like no matter which way you spin it, no matter which type of ambiguity people are seeking after, there is a mulatta who has that phenotype. So there's no way that you can exclude mulattas from the beauty standard, whether that's in the black community or even in the mixed community as well. Because I've noticed even in mixed communities, like if you go to other countries where they have a high population of mixed people, a lot of the people, they're trying to stick to kind of this stereotypical mulatta look. And I feel like a lot of people who don't have blackness as their beauty standard, a lot of people feel like this mulatta aesthetic, it's kind of like the perfect blend between black and non-black features. And by the way, I talk about that a lot on this channel. And then in terms of like black history and mulattoes dominating black history and also dominating HBCUs, you do know that HBCUs were actually filled with biracials, right? I call them historically biracial colleges and universities. But something else that people won't admit is that people tend to associate mulattoes with black excellence because a lot of people in the black community view it as a prize if you're able to have a baby with a white person. You've got black women bragging about having babies by white men. You've got black men doing the same thing. You've got all of these historical figures throughout time who were mulattoes. And if you look at modern day examples of black excellence culture, who is the number one couple that people point to when they talk about black excellence? It's Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. And the reason they call that black excellence culture, have you ever noticed that the definition of black excellence for a lot of people, it's always when there's unambiguous black people mixed in with mulattoes. Has anybody else noticed that? I could make a whole video about that. But I feel like if you have this mulatto phenotype or if that's your background, people associate you with black excellence culture because a lot of people are going to try to ride your coattails. That's the number one group where you see a lot of people in the black community riding their coattails. It's always somebody who has significant white and black ancestry. Always. Another reason that some people can be jealous is because I feel like mulattoes have a lot of visibility on social media. So like I said, you're the standard for racial ambiguity. I feel like a lot of people view you as the standard for mixed race. And this channel helps to kind of diversify that a little bit. This channel does include all the different types of mixes, But I feel like visibility is still something that people get jealous of. People get jealous of the collective image. Think about the collective image of mulattoes. Think about the collective image of mulattoes versus the collective image of white women or black women. It's a better collective image overall because the stereotypes that people give you in the mulatto community, what's the worst stereotype? Oh, that you're colorist. I mean, society as a whole is, you're no more colorist than Hollywood. You're no more colorist than all the people that they worship anyway. So you really have no negative stereotypes that are affecting you that bad. So I think that's another thing too, with mulattoes specifically. A lot of people just, they stereotype mulattoes as being privileged. And then I think in terms of the phenotype, a lot of the hair textures that they buy, a lot of the concealers that they buy that, they're trying to make their under eyes look lighter, or a lot of the filters that people use on social media, and even these lightings, they actually have ring lights that you can clip onto your phone now. I didn't even know that was a thing until recently. They literally have lights where women are clipping the light onto their phone. So even if it's sunny outside, even if there's lighting in the room, they're still using this ring light to make themselves look as close to this yellowy type of skin tone as possible. They're trying to look as close to this golden skin tone as possible. And that's another thing, too. People stereotype mulattoes as being kind of lighter skinned or, just not dark skin. So that could be a good or a bad thing. But a lot of people are jealous of that particular skin tone range. I would say kind of this golden, um, maybe like somewhere all the way up to like the Fenty 300s. We talk about it a lot on this channel. So what I call that like a form of skin tone ambiguity. I feel like a lot of people they feel like that skin tone is universally common. Like a lot of different ethnicities have a variation of some sort of golden, tan, beige, wheat colored type of skin tone. So I think I'll probably make a video about that too. Maybe I'll make a video just about light skinned black women in particular, like monoracial. And I can talk about the skin tone jealousy. But I think another form of jealousy for mulattoes is people view you as having the most useful fluid identity. So, for example, if you are mixed with white, I mean, who has been known to historically dominate society as a whole? Who is accused of having the most power in society? What ethnicity of people? It's white people. So if you're already, let's say you're already half white, a lot of people are going to get jealous because they feel like you have access to the most powerful group in the world. A lot of people are trying to date white people because they are not mixed with white. And that's something else that they won't admit. A lot of people, they want to swirl with the white community. They want to work for companies owned by the white community. They want to move to countries that are dominated by the white community. They want to go sit under governments that are run by the white community. And they'll talk shit and they'll try to lie and say like, oh, our country's corrupt, our government's corrupt. But I don't see those people going to live in African countries or Asian countries or, wherever their ancestry is from. So a lot of people, they have kind of this love, hate, and admiration for the white community. So if you are a black person and then let's say 50% of your ancestry is white, it's almost like people view you as just having this perfect bridge. You can go in and out of each community. Usually when people get mad about hopping in and out of blackness, a lot of times they're talking about mulattoes. They'll be talking about either Afro-Latinas or mulattoes, I've noticed, when they get super pissed off that you're hopping in and out of blackness. And I also want to touch on the solidarity that mulattoes could have with other racial mixes because like I said before, a lot of mixed people, even if they're identifying as Blasian or something else, a lot of them still have white ancestry as well. So, like Janae Aiko, for example, a lot of people clock her as Asian or Blasian. Well, no, she still has white ancestry. I just feel like whiteness, that's a very common mix when it comes to black mixed people. So, you're going to have, if you're a mulatto, I feel like you have so much in common with so many different people. You have such a fluid identity. You have the ability to find something in common with so many different people. And I think that's the real thing that a lot of people get jealous of. There's jealousy over a lot of the skin tones. I think there's also variety in the mulatto phenotype. So like the eye colors and stuff. There's variety in eye colors, variety in hair colors, just like with the rest of the mixed community. There's a sense of variety. So there's no way that anybody can accuse the entire mixed race of being ugly. But we see that with other racial groups of people, well, because they're more homogenous in terms of their phenotype. But I think there's also kind of this myth of you have the best of both worlds. People feel like you get cultural access, but you don't get as much cultural punishment. And by the way, I've also heard people talk about a lot of mulattas, like in terms of celebrities. People will say things like, oh, she's not too pale, but not too dark. Oh, well, she looks black, but not too black. Oh, well, she looks part white, but not too white. So it's almost as if there's this stereotype where your phenotype is kind of in the sweet spot. I think that's something else that people can get jealous of because a lot of people are actually trying to erase their features. A lot of people from other communities, they're trying to erase their features. And I think that a lot of mulatta women are stereotyped as being feminine as well. I think that's something else. The femininity stereotype, we see this with a lot of mixed women in general, where there's this stereotype that you're feminine because you're multicultural. You're feminine because of your phenotype. You're feminine because you were already privileged, so you didn't have to suffer as much. So I think that's part of why we see a lot of mixed women getting away with being quote unquote ratchet because they can. They can. Like Miss Mulatto, she's coming to mind. She's like a rapper. She's one of my favorite rappers. I've seen her in concert. But I feel like a lot of mixed women are able to get away with being ratchet because mixed women are still going to be worshipped. Mixed women are still going to have people lusting after their phenotype. Mixed women are still going to have other women wanting to look like them. So it's like if you're already being pedestalized, nothing is going to take away that pedestal. And I think that's really the deep rooted insecurity that a lot of other people have. But what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.